Hi there, I'm Ben, an RV technician here at Lichtsinn RV. Today I'm going to show you how to winterize a Forza 38F. Alright, to start with, a couple things you'll need. You don't really need too much for this. We need RV antifreeze. Usually it's going to take, probably for a Forza, 3 to 4 gallons, give or take. Depends how much you use in the faucets and that. Make sure we are using the RV antifreeze. Other thing you definitely need is rags. We want to wipe up, clean up after ourselves because RV antifreeze does stain, so make sure you have some paper towels with you or rags. Okay, in the first compartment here on the passenger side, about halfway back, it's kind of our water compartment. So this is where our freshwater tank is, our water pump, and we do have low point drain in here. So one of the first things you want to do is open your freshwater tank here, let that start draining out. Next thing we want to do is right back here there's a valve. So that's going to turn our suction line on here. So we're going to flip that towards the suction hose right here. We're going to take the cap off the end of the suction hose. Right there. Open our antifreeze. Just put that suction hose right in the antifreeze. Try to get it all the way to the bottom if you can. Okay, now that we've done that, one of the first things I like to do after we do this is we'll go to the other side to our other water compartment and I'll show you what to do over there. Alright, now that we're over here on the other side, on the driver's side, in the water compartment here, one of the first things I like to do is empty this water filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your filter wrench, go up, crack her open, take that, and we'll just dump that out. So we want to dump that out so we're not diluting our RV antifreeze. So let's get the water out of that, put this back on. Just like that. Tighten it. There we go. And then when you're done winterizing, we will also want to come back out here and dump this again. Because if it is completely full and it does freeze, it will crack it. So just make sure we empty that at the end when you're completely done. Alright. So now that we've hooked our RV antifreeze up, dumped our filter, now we have a water pump switch right on this side. So I can hit the water pump switch. That's going to kind of pressurize the system. Then what we're going to do is open the cold water line here and run it until you get a nice stream of pink coming out on the cold. Same with the hot. We're going to run it on the hot side until we get a nice stream of pink coming out from the hot. Just like that. Let that drain. And the other thing I like to do here is I like to actually just hit the tank fill valve just really quick. Just like that. That is going to winterize that line going to the freshwater tank itself. You're probably going to ask why I didn't go in and bypass the water heater or any of that stuff. We're actually going to pump through the water heater. The recirculating line actually is flowing back into the water heater, so the bypass doesn't shut it off all the way. So we just found out that it's easier just to pump through it. And then we're going to drain it at the end, and then we're going to switch one valve over to the circulation line just to winterize that, which I'll show you when we go inside. Alright, so now that we've done this water compartment, all that, now let's go inside and we'll get everything winterized inside. Alright, now that we're inside, what we want to do inside is we want to make sure we go to each faucet or each appliance that has water going to it. Alright, so we'll start here in the kitchen. Again, we want to do hot and cold. Hot first. Then cold. Again, until you get that nice stream of pink coming out from the RV antifreeze. Alright, then after you do the kitchen sink, we would go to the fridge, and what we want to do is we want to let the fridge run a full cycle for the ice. So it's going to take a while, but you want to hook it up to RV antifreeze, pressurize the system, and then let it make one tray of ice, or one cycle of ice. That will get our whole line winterized all the way up to the ice maker. And then when we go back outside, I'll show you a drain on the back side of the fridge is how we can actually drain the RV antifreeze out a little bit. Okay, moving back here to the mid bath. Okay, so here in the mid bath, a couple things we have to do is winterize the toilet. On the foot pedal, we want to just push that quick till you get a nice pink coming out. And then you want to remember to always do your sprayer too. The only way the sprayer works is with the foot pedal down. So make sure you get pink coming out of that sprayer too, so that gets winterized. And then the other thing we want to do in the bathroom is hit the sink here. Again, hot and cold. There's hot. There's cold. So now that's winterized. Now we're going to go back to the rear bathroom. Okay, couple things here in the rear bathroom. We do have our pump toilet here. So what we want to do is we actually want to run just the short pump cycle, which is going to be that button right there. So we're going to push that and let it run that one cycle. And then that's going to get the whole toilet winterized, and that's also going to winterize that macerating pump that's back there. Kind of winterize the whole line going to the black tank. Okay, now it's done. What I like to do after it finishes is if you hit both buttons at the same time, that will just empty your bowl. It won't put any more RV antifreeze, anything. That just gets everything out of there. It actually tells you usually on the back side of your lid too. Alright, next thing we're going to do in here is we are going to go to the faucets. Again, hot, and then we go to cold. Just like that to get nice pink. Same thing on this one over here. We're going to go hot, and then we're going to go cold. That's on those two. Alright, now what we're going to do is go to the shower. Alright, so in the shower, again, we just want to do the hot and cold in the shower. So, it's cold, and then turn it all the way up for hot. Just make sure we get that paint coming out. And then as you're doing this, you are going to have to go outside and rotate your gallons of RV antifreeze. Like I said, it's normally going to take probably 3 to 4 gallons on this coach. Alright, last thing we need to do in the bathroom is actually underneath the counter here. So underneath the counter, in this compartment right here, way in the back side, this is our Truma valves. So this is actually where our bypass valve is, and it also a winterizing valve for our circulation line. It tells you how to use both of them. Again, we found out the bypass valve, if we bypass it, it still wants to fill the water heater going through that circulation line. So we just pump straight through it, and then we empty that water heater when we're done at the end, the Truma. But the one thing I do want you to do is for the circulation line, I do want you to kick that on to tank drain, and then water heater tank drain, line drain. So just at the end, hit that. But the line drain is once you shut, or the tank drain, line drain is when you shut the RV antifreeze off. But the line drain we want to hit really quick. And that's just going to help us get that circulation line winterized. So that will actually get that whole line done. And then, again, once we shut that pump off, we come back, we're going to flip that all the way to the third position and drain the line. Okay. Okay, now if you have a washer machine and dryer in your diesel pusher or in your coach, we'll go to winterizing that now. It's pretty easy to do. A lot of people forget about doing it. It's one of the most important things to do. So now let's get into it. All we got to do is we'll hit the power button on the washing machine. Just like that. We'll let it come up. Okay. First thing we want to do is select the program. So we want to make sure we're on the normal. Alright, once we're on the normal there, then we want to select the temperature. So you want to make sure you're on warm. That's so that the cold water lines and the hot water lines can both get winterized. It allows it to flow down the hot and cold. So now that you have it on normal and on warm, now we're just going to hit the play. We're going to let it run for about 20-30 seconds. That should give us enough to get everything winterized and also give enough antifreeze in the washing machine to when we pump it out that we're going to winterize that trap behind it. So we'll let it go here for a little bit. All right, and that should be about long enough. Like I said, once you just start seeing it in the inside, what we're gonna do now is hit the pause button. So hold that, and that will pause the cycle. Okay, the next thing we wanna do is hit the program button. And then we're gonna switch the program over to spin. That's how we're gonna drain it. So go to spin, hit the play button. All right, now it's gonna do a spin cycle. It takes about 15 minutes. You can let it run the full cycle. That'll help get everything out of the wash machine. Make sure you got all the fluids and everything out. But this is pumping it back into the drain and allows us to winterize that trap in the back. And there it goes, it's draining. Like I said, let it run the full cycle, finish it out. That makes everything out of there. All right, other than that, actually, winterizing your wash machine is really pretty easy. As long as you do a couple steps and don't forget about winterizing your wash machine, really that's all there is to winterizing your wash machine. All right, now we're outside on the passenger side behind the fridge. Again, you let that cycle run to get those ice, the RV antifreeze up to the ice maker. We do also have a drain that's right here. So this will help you get some of that water out. So if we open that up, you can actually pump your RV antifreeze all the way over to here. Plus we can, when we're done, we can open that too and drain some of that pressure out of that hose back there. It's just a T-handle that's right there. And righty tighty, lefty loosey on that. But yeah, the main thing is let that run a cycle. I mean, that's pretty much the only way you're gonna get that fridge winterized is if you let that run a full cycle. All right, now let's go back over to the other side, to the water compartment again. Okay, now we're back here on the driver's side in the water compartment again. Again, this is what I was talking about, that we want to dump this canister. So again, make sure all your pressure's off of there, shut your water pump off. So we'll get that pressure off so it doesn't come spraying out at us. Let that go, let that go. All right. So then I can close those. And then now we'll take this canister off. All right. All right, so we'll take that off and we'll actually dump all that out. Just like that, and then we can put that canister back on. If you do feel safer, you can leave this canister just off for all winter. We usually put it back on and just get it ready for when we put water back in it. All right, put that back up. All right, the other thing you want to make sure you do before winter is make sure we dump our tanks and clean them really quick and take care of all that stuff too. Okay, now we're gonna go to the other side and we're gonna actually drain the truma. Okay, now we're over here at the truma. To drain the truma, it's actually really easy, but the one thing we want to make sure we do first is relieve that pressure. So open that pressure relief valve, let it drain out, let the pressure come off of there. All right, then close it. Then you're gonna put your thumb on this little lever, push up, and then what we're gonna do is pull down. Pull this filter out, and then I always open this pressure relief valve to drain it faster. So let that drain out. And then they recommend you clean this with water, the filter. You can choose if you want to put it back in for winter. What we do here is we actually just put it beside it, right there. Then if any residual water gets in here or any antifreeze, it actually will drain out. And then all we're going to do is close this. There, shut that relief valve. And then what we can do is go up here and close that back up. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to go to the compartment right up here to just finish our last couple steps up. All right. Grab our RV antifreeze. Okay. So what you want to do is make sure we put that cap back on so we're not leaking RV antifreeze into this compartment. And a little bit that's in there. Flip your valve back up so it's in normal operation. So straight up away from this hose. And then what I like to do is there's that low point drain that's right over here. Just open that and just let the pressure come out. Then tank drain, if you're all the way drained, we can close that so it's ready to go. to fill water. And then we can close that. And then remember, we definitely want to go back inside and wipe everything up from RV antifreeze, because RV antifreeze can stain. So we want to make sure we get all of it wiped up in there. When it comes to your batteries and stuff, we want to make sure your batteries are at least 80% full before we put it away for winter. And then we want to use our disconnects that are right inside the main door up there. We want to disconnect the chassis battery and the house battery for long-term storage. But the biggest thing with that is we have to make sure they're pretty much fully charged when we put it away. Otherwise, they have a chance of freezing and breaking. So just make sure we take care of the batteries too. Other than that, that's about all there is to winterizing a Forza.